The NFL's back. I'm your boy Mikey Money with a big game breakdown here on Sports Money for the Kansas City Chiefs LA Chargers battle in Brazil on Friday night. This line opened at 2.5. It's moving to 3s. We have 52% of the bets on the Chiefs. We have 75% of the cash coming in on the LA Chargers. They believe this is too many points for a neutral field road dog. I'll give you guys some trends and angles that you need to know before you place the big bets. I've got 2 spots to share with you for this game. And, of course, we'll be live streaming and live betting the evening away on Friday. Hey, look, we know Andy Reid. He's ultimately effective and second to none when it comes to giving this guy time off to prepare. Statistician, but he might have found his chess match partner in Jim Harbaugh. 5-0 is Jim Harbaugh, straight up and against the spread in week number 1. Give him time. Give him an opportunity. His margin of victory is 11 points in those spots. Potentially suggesting that they stomp on this Kansas City team. But I'm not ready to go down that road just yet. Last year, we saw Patrick Mahomes. Look, Isaiah Pacheco goes down. They have to make some adjustments. They forced a lot of game through the air and, pedestrian, mediocre. Couple words I would use to describe it. But he's back. Isaiah will be back. We know Rashee Rice is suspended for game number 1. The other side of things, there's some new components, some new adjustments out there for this LA Chargers team. They've got to deal with a guy like Najee Harris coming back into the lineup and trying to learn this playbook. Ultimately, I'm going to take a shot with this Kansas City Chiefs team. -2.5 sounds like a good number with a little juice. -3 should be fine as well. Look, the narrative right now that you're hearing is fade the team that just lost in the Super Bowl. We know that hangover can be real. We've seen the Kansas City Chiefs make it to the big game a number of times. But how about this? Week number 1, early pop in the season. If a team got eliminated from the playoffs in round number 1 and they were a high win rate team, you fade them, boys. You're 12-0 in those spots out there. That's a Kansas City trend and a half right there. Mahomes, when he's in that small dog role, finds a way to be victorious. 8-2 his last 10 against the spread, 29-10 in his lifetime. Did I mention Mahomes, week number 1's 6-1 straight up, 5-2 against the spread. And last but not least, we're looking at Justin Herbert in the dog role. This guy's 21-3 if you fade him. Justin Herbert as a dog is a dog for a reason. You've cashed 15 straight times in those positions. Kansas City owns the AFC West. They're 9-1 in their last 10. I'm going to jump in on this Kansas City. We'll call it -3 for an official play here on the show. Primetime unders continue to prevail, 71-31 to the under in their last 102 spots. I like this under, but I'm going to take this in a teaser as well. I'm going to take this Kansas City Chiefs team +3.5. I'm going to take the under. I'm going to take that under at 52.5 as well. I suspect that what happens with this game is we see a lot of ground and pound. Secondaries on both teams are very strong. They have to be based on the division they play in. But where they can certainly exploit and show vulnerability is on the ground game, in the trenches where the game is battled. We've seen the last 2 times Kansas City played the Chargers, 19-17, 17-10. That'll be an official play as well. Play number 2 is a teaser with the +3.5 Kansas City Chiefs, the under 52.5 in that game. Give me those 2 plays to get paid, and make sure you smash that thumbs up button.
Till I'm on top.
Yo, no, I ain't the type to give up. If I do something, man, I do it till I get what I want. I turn a business out of nothing into something I love. I got a poker face, but honestly, I'm not one to bluff. I flip a switch, never miss, man, I always stay up. Don't let them see you, bitch, always have a plan to stay tough. This life ahead of you ain't easy, it was built to be rough. But that's what makes a personality, is tragedy, bruh. So keep your head on your shoulders. Now we ain't out here moving rocks, we out here moving boulders. Now
What up, what up, what up? I was looking at that going, what up? What happened? Where are we at? What are we doing? What day is it? I forgot. No, I'm just kidding. It's Friday. It's the best day of the week. TGIF. The second F stands for fun tonight because we've got football live stream. Going to be fun to get after it again tonight. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the live stream last night. Made some money. What a game. Fucking nailed it, by the way. +8.5. Said I thought it would be a 3-4 point victory. not 11 straight sides and total winners in the NFL by accident, boys and girls. This is what we do, and it's time to do exactly what we do. So I'm fired up. I wanted to start the show off with that Kansas City Chargers breakdown because some great trends, some great stats. And we got our guy Friday. Somewhat normalcy with they'll be in Paris, but at least it's not a 3 a.m. card, which means our friend from Vegas will join us here. Andrew Babakidis will jump in to talk a little bit about the behind the counter action for the big UFC card that pops off tomorrow morning. We'll be live for that as well. Actually, it's around noon. It's around noon Eastern. So plan accordingly, you guys. We got a full weekend of sports, and it starts tonight. We got some real shit college football games, but we got some really big trends that we're going to try to ride. Keep that winning streak moving in the right direction. And again, that 2 plays for you guys in that Kansas City game. I'll have a couple props that I'll talk about when we go live tonight for that show. Boy, felt good to have the football back. You know, I'm gonna speak on it because I said something yesterday, and I'll own it because Dak Prescott's a piece of shit. By the way, Sharp Perspective Betting came in. They said to take the under in his passing yards. I teased it, or I parlayed it, same game parlayed it, to an over. Let me explain myself, because you're going to sit there and go, well, first half was explosive. Then they shut us down it felt like waiting for a UFC main event with the lightning delay, and he could never get going. And when the team needed him, he didn't do shit. 21 of 34 for 188 yards, 0 touchdowns. You got CeeDee Lamb. You got George Pickens. Everybody was talking about it. Now, CeeDee Lamb, 7 receptions for 110 yards. Counter narrative, I heard. Well, Dak would have had a much better game if CeeDee Lamb caught that humdinger right up the center. Yeah, well, he didn't. But he still caught 7 fucking balls for 110 yards. And the 110 yards with that speed show just says you were kind of dinking dunking. He was averaging 5.5 yards per reception. His QBR rating was 58.7. Now, Javonte Williams came out of the fucking nowhere. I did not expect him to go out there in beast mode, 2 touchdowns. Good thing he did, because once again, Dak Prescott was not effective under the bright lights. That's a divisional team. You had all offseason to prepare for it. The best you can muster up is 188 yards, no touchdowns. I mean, on the plus side, he didn't throw an interception. I guess that's a big thing for him. And look, he's getting older. His lack of mobility, 1 rush attempt for 3 yards. He was taking some pressure. Now, he didn't take any sacks. So my thought process around that Dallas defensive line or offensive line, we'll see. But you got to play a lot better than that, Dak. I mean, look, right now, if I was going to rank the NFC East quarterbacks, Dak Prescott's flirting with the bottom. In the NFC East, especially when you're looking at Jaden Daniels. Now, I think he'll have that sophomore slump, so things will drop. But then you go to the Giants, and yeah, they got a big rotation in that offensive room. But I don't know. I think we're going to see some magic out of these Giants. That will be an official play for me, by the way. A look ahead spot to get involved with the Giants plus 6. 6.5 if you can get it. But man, these Giants got young talent. Brian Dable can be a quarterback whisperer. We saw what he did for the Buffalo Bills and a young feller named Josh Allen. So Micah Parsons. Well, he didn't really matter. And it was baked in the line. So there was all that overreaction. Oh my God, they just lost Micah Parsons. Well, the line was already at 7. They weren't expecting him to play anyways. Plus, if he did play, his conditioning after sitting out all summer was going to be in the shitter. So sometimes it's not as complicated as people make things seem. And in that game, it was too many points. We know Dak Prescott's a piece of shit. We know the Eagles are dominant. What I did like about the Eagles, was concerned a little bit about the defense, talked about their gap and their secondary. They let a piece of shit like Dak Prescott zip up 188 yards on him, but they stepped when it mattered. They stepped up. Also, I think what we've learned here is there's some dummies like Jalen Carter. Now, it did sound like Dak spit in his direction. And spitting's fucking gross, man. I mean, unless you're spitting on that thing, just don't do it. You know what I mean? It's fucking gross. You ever seen it? I don't even want to think about it. Stupid. But Jalen Hurts, look, the flip side, 14 carries for 62 yards and 2 touchdowns. People saying I'd rather have Dak Prescott than Jalen Hurts. Stop it. Stop it. This nonsense. 19 of 23. You going to tell me the elements were different for Jalen Hurts than they were for Dak Prescott? It's rhetorical. Remember the movie, was it Mr. Woodcock with Stifler? It's rhetorical, Woodcock. Assuming I know the answer and I don't give a fuck. Yeah, the same conditions for both sides of the ball. Both players on, and one went out there and did it, and the other went out there and blew it. And so, week 1, don't want to overreact. Dallas might be in some trouble. Dallas might be the bottom team. And look, for what it's worth, some public love Dallas to make the playoffs this year. Dak Prescott's going to be back. Dude's back after a year off with another injury. Ridiculous. He's not getting younger. He certainly doesn't have the fountain of youth. He doesn't have the magic elixir. Speaking of the magic elixir, I'm going to swallow down some water. As we get ready for the big show tonight, I'm excited. It's our friend Razor Sharp's birthday, so join me in wishing him a happy birthday. We have a live show for NFL for Kansas City, the Chargers. And I bought some Jack Daniel's Blackberry to enjoy the evening, to say the least. I'm going to need it. I'm going to need a kickstart here because it was a late showing last night. Now, we'll see what happens. This game's going to be on YouTube. It's going to be live with us. I wonder if we can stream it with it being on YouTube. Probably not. Anything fun is probably not allowed, right? Isn't that just the general rule of thumb? I can't believe that game stayed under. Holy shit. After all those points in the first half, stayed under. We had some great live betting. We live bet the under. Thank goodness. We got some breaks in that. Live betted at, what was it, 56.5, 58.5, 61.5, I think, or 62.5. I mean, there's a couple of them out there. So those were nice to cash. And yeah, 4-point win for the Eagles. Dialed in. Had some great calls from Sean Fox. Comes in, he gives us a live look. He says, hey, grab CeeDee Lamb to catch a pass this drive at minus 120. No sooner did he put it in the chat, it cashed. It's going to be fun, man. The crew that's assembled for this year is going to be dynamite. And, oh, yeah, by the way, we're going to do the UFC as well. So it's a ton of fun. Lots of good things happening here in the world of sports money. And, hey, look, lots of ways to support the Sports Money Squad. Of course, you guys know by now, Winnable is a source of our ability to show us your appreciation. Maybe it's a way to consider it a tip. Buying picks isn't for everybody, but some people don't have time to do the gambling and the research. They want to gamble without the research, and we'll do all of that for you. It's a small token of your appreciation to jump in there and support us over there. We don't have big business. We don't have big checks. No one's getting any compensation. We're just asking for you guys to consider taking the premium packages, especially now with all these seasons going on. We're going to have, right now it's college football and the NFL that's added, but wait till we got 30 days till the NHL, the NBA, and we'll have full tilt. There's no way you're going to be able to research all of those leagues and do everything else that you have to do. And even if you don't want to join us on Winnable, all you have to do is smash the thumbs up button. It only takes a second. It costs you nothing. It tells YouTube we want to continue to grow this thing. And hey, if you followed yesterday, you made some money, show some support. Smash that thumbs up button. Let's get to work. Let's go. I'm fired up. I'm ready to go. I hope you guys are as well. It was a great day yesterday. Not just from the NFL that we talked a little bit about to start the top of the show here. I'm tripping over my tongue. It was such a great day. But we smashed the board. Now, the under 7 fucked us in the Dodgers game. That sucked. 5-3. Dodgers got swept. And a meaningless 9th inning run to ruin it for us. It could have at least been a push, right? And then we lost to Kansas City first 5. I'm laughing because I told you guys I was going to stop with these first 5s. I wanted to get away from bullpens, though. There was a little week of bad bullpen exposure. And so we take Kansas City first 5. It seemed like a good setup and scenario for Noah Cameron. He lets 1 get away from him. That's 3 runs. Kansas City gets 2 back, but ends up losing that first 5, 3-2, comes back to win the fucking game. Then we won everything else. We swept the WNBA. It was good to do that. Threw that extra play out there. That cashed. Washington Mystics, 75-69 loss, but cover the 9.5 point spread. The Dallas Wings, Space Cadet there for a second. 11.5 points against Golden State. Fucking Critton. 84-80. That trend continues to be hot as a pistol. And the Vegas Aces, you knew after the biggest loss of WNBA history, they were going to come out fired up. That was an easy casher for us. The Yankees got it done against Houston. The Guardians Tampa Bay game stayed under 8.5. And I think that's everything, right? And then, of course, Dallas plus 8.5. So, mighty fine day. Plus fucking live betting and everything else that went to be. So, hey, you guys are in the right spot if you're looking to get last-minute line updates, angles, trends. Let me break the card down for you throughout the day, and I'll come back here and I'll share you my favorite spots, the spots that my money's getting invested in. And we got to get going. We got 25 minutes to fire off a monster card. We got the Mets and Cincinnati Reds, the Dodgers and the Orioles, Toronto and the Yankees. Minnesota KC, I added a spot, a surprise spot. We'll talk about that. I've got one game for you guys in the dub tonight. One game. I did post a free play on Winnable for the WNBA. So make sure you check that out. At the very least, if you don't want to get in and get on the premium subscription side of things, then at least sign up for a free play. That way you don't miss action. It's a 2-leg parlay. Player prop, leg 1. Money line, leg 2. Even money play. Then I've got 2 in the college football. All over Illinois tonight. We got Northern Illinois versus Maryland. We've got Western Illinois versus Northwestern. A lot of directions in that one. And we already covered the NFL. So let's go, guys. Get those plays in the chat. You guys know my favorite part of the show is talking about you guys, what you guys are on. I love to see what's going on. Maybe we're going to be head-to-head. My plays are in. I'm ready to roll. I hope you guys are as well. We got Tom C as a new member. What up, Tom C? New member. Where you been? We're doing it, my dude. Nicholas Handy, 9 Legacy. Just got jacked by the dentist. Need a paid in full parlay. What up, Kenny Wood? Gerald Jones coming through. Got a best bet with the Yankees, Toronto, over 9. 66-61 is my man. It's funny because I was looking at that play too. Good luck, Gerald Jones. Joe W's here. Vitalis says that Brazil field is like ice. I heard that they spent some money on it in the offseason because they do have a commitment. They want to globalize the brand. You'll notice what's happening with the NFL. It's no coincidence. And now the biggest thing that's happening is they're trying to position a game to have a Super Bowl in London. Once they do that, expect it to be a worldwide brand. Expect it to be the Spanish Regatta versus the Sao Paulo. I don't know. Struggling with names. If I give out a name, someone's going to take it. We already know that happens. Redbeard's ready. Says Fat fingered it. Stop Geo Engineers ready to roll. Says let's get it. Gerald Jones NFL best bet from our guy Gerald Jones. He likes the Houston Rams game under 44.5. There you go, guys. We're filling out the NFL card. I already gave you the Giants. I gave you that teaser as well earlier this week. Don't forget. Don't you forget. We got the Arizona Cardinals -0.5 and the over 37.5 on the New England Patriots Las Vegas Raiders game. Gerald Jones giving you this Houston Rams under. I gave you some plays in Kansas City. I just added the Giants to the mix. Let's go. Stop Gio says, under going to smash tonight, Sweaty Butcher. Mahomes over 3.5 carries. Sharp number. RVD says, primetime unders continue to live on. My dude, they do. Imagine if I tried to do a show and just came in and said, under. Thanks for watching, you guys. I'll see you later. That was my point back in the day. Sometimes, if you stand too close to the picture, you can't see the picture frame. Turk B, Big Mike, how'd you do it? Hammered this night, but chipper today. We made great money yesterday. The live under in the Cowboys game was icing on the cake. I love making money, dude. That's how I do it. And some coffee. And that's pretty much it today. Yeah, it's pretty much it today. Nothing too. I got to get back to neutral, though. I'll tell you what, a cocktail will get me right back to neutral. The Sweaty Butcher, 4 for 13 on passes beyond 10+ yards. Talking about Dak Prescott. Bo Jackson says, let's go Yankees. I don't know if you guys ever noticed, too, but sometimes I'll just make some bold statements out there. I'm not Stephen A. Smith with some stupid hot takes, but if I get an opinion, I will share it with you, and I will be absolute in the terms I use. Shout out to Bo Jackson says, let's go Yankees. AOD's rocking with us. David Wall says, what up? Nathan Cerna says, Mikey, everyone, and their mother is humping up on Louisville. JMU +15. I like points in that game. Nathan Cerna says, 3 in the second half is unreal. Jay Main, what up? Peter Gracia, sup? My dude says, easy money. Thanks. Even Dak Prescott almost no. Yeah. Mm-hmm. By the way, we did cash today. Speaking of winnable, an easy team total under for Croatia, under 2.5. 1-0 final. Let's go. Jay Main says 40+ first half points was 171-1 to the over 84. Jeez. Irish King checking in. Mr. Tomatoes is in the house. Peter Gracia says, nice cashing last night. Thanks. Let's go, man. That's what I like to hear. You boys make some money with me. DK has a Pacheco or Kelsey to score boost, +100. Fucking Jalen Hurts scored last night with the boost. I think Kelsey gets one tonight. Kelsey hasn't scored in, is it 3 now? 3 against the Los Angeles Chargers. It's too many. DraftKings says free survival challenge sponsored by Venmo. No shit. I'll have to look. There's Razor. Says, how easy was that under last night? It wasn't easy, dude. It wasn't easy. I think I saw you digging in the trash can, trying to find that ticket at the first half. Nasty Nate's here checking in, a.k.a. the wrench, a.k.a. the mechanic, a.k.a. Celtics going to smash, a.k.a. Boston going to smash, a.k.a. Celtics second quarter, a.k.a. Celtics trifecta. Tech B says Brewers first 5, Mets over 9, Orioles first 5, Tigers Phillies parlay, Braves Guardians first 5, Royals Rangers Giants. That's a beefy MLB card. Gerald Jones says 5K to the winner. No shit. I will get in. I'm glad I didn't get in last night. I was going to take the Cowboys just as ultimately I was expecting it to be a throwaway, but I thought mathematically 40% of I figured 40% of the survivor pools would be tossed. The other 40% would be on Denver. And then 20% would be a hodgepodge of a smorgasbord of other programs out there. So interesting. If you guys haven't done so already, you know the deal. You want to get out there and join the SZN. That's where we're going to play our survivor football action this year. I'll drop that link in the chat for everybody as well, because you only have a couple of days left. No entries accepted, as a matter of fact, until Sunday. So plenty of time. Plenty of time. Put the show thieves on the shit list to the left. Nate says Pat Smash. FTB screaming, fuck the bookies. SF9 says, shouts out to Novak for selling today, huh? Novak's not him. Jay Main says, Disley over 15.5 yards. Allen anytime touchdown. Pacheco anytime touchdown. Herbert 15 plus rushing yards. Brown over 3.5 receptions. Hollywood Brown is a little dinged up. They don't expect it to be a big deal, though. Tech B says, lastly, teaser. Chargers plus 9.5, under 53. Aubrey's wishing Razor Sharp a happy birthday. SF9 likes Barnett over 4.5 Ks. Cardoso over 14.5 points. Nathan Serta got an anytime touchdown is Gucci. Saquon anytime touchdown, my man. Let's go. Raiders over 37.5 and the Arizona Cardinals -0.5 against the the New Orleans Saints is the second leg of the teaser, Tarek B. Nathan Serta says the priest gonna baptize. Teasers died years ago. Teasers are fucking live and thriving, dude. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? They are thriving. And they're so successful in the NFL. Not so much college. I don't like to fuck around. And I don't take them in basketball because it's only like 4 points. But 6 points, even the 10s, you get them sweetheart teasers. Man, they're such money. What's up, Marcus McCarthy? Nasty Nate took Eagles Survivor. There you go. You're moving on. I want to see, you got to win to advance, obviously, right? But I want to save some of those big guns. There's some spots mid-season where I think the Eagles have some absolute knockdown, drag-out, slam dunks. Okay. Game number 1 popping off here very shortly. So let's get fired up. Let's get some picks out there. Let's talk about this Mets-Reds game. We're going to go with the over 9. I got some overs. I got some unders. I got some action. That's what I got. Fucking load it up. We only got 15 minutes to knock it down. So let's go, and then we'll bring our guy on. You guys get ready. If you have any UFC-oriented questions, you want to talk about big bets that are being placed out there, our man will give us the inside info from behind the counter to help us make some informed betting decisions. Big story right now, Quinn Priester and the Pirates. 17 straight Brewers victories. Pirates coming off of sweeping the Dodgers, not moving. I would take the Pirates. I don't care if he's got 17 straight wins. Funny thing, and you've probably heard this too today. I thought it was interesting. His last loss was against the Pirates. Hey, look, they did put some runs up on them Phils, but anyhow, Mets and the Reds are the spot I want to talk about here. This has got to be a batter's duel, not a pitcher's duel here. And the nines have moved to 9.5. So they opened up at that key number at 9. They flipped it to 9.5. So you got 68% of the bets and 66% of the cash on the over. Looking at the side here, the Mets go from -126 all the way down to -104. 58% of the bets, 67% of the cash. David Peterson over 4.5 Ks was a spot that I was looking at all day. I think I gave it out as a free play. Cost has come down a little bit. That is concerning. But the bottom line is that these teams are when these two teams meet, it is a run fest. Now, the problem I have, as we talked about, is this identity-less Mets. Can we trust them to smack some runs today? What do you say? I think we can. I think the short answer is yeah. You look at Quinn Priester. I'm sorry, I got Quinn Priester on the mind. It's not a good place to be. It's not the spot you want to be. Bottom line, David Peterson's got plenty of exposure against they've been locking him down, knockdown dragouts. And the crazy part is it's lefty on lefty. So for me getting involved at this game to get to this over, I had to like something out there. We got gorgeous temperatures in the 80s. We got it breezy out to the right side. And literally everybody's hitting like a 300 on the red side of things here. Can we count on these Mets bats? They've got plenty of great success and experience against Andy Abbott, Francisco Lindor, 429. Juan Soto, useless, 375, though. Mark Vientos, 400. Starling Marte, 500. Francisco Alvarez, 400. This has got to be a punch him in the mouth drag. This is one of them spots like we talked about yesterday or 2 days ago, I think it was. We probably see this thing goes way over by the first 5. So an alternate line wouldn't be out of reach, but it's the Mets. Can we count on the Mets? I want to count on the Baltimore Orioles today, but I felt gun shy. So I'm going to take the over. So start that over. Dean Kramer has himself a nice little 7-0 trend here for this Baltimore Orioles team. Just as a validation point of how it is a combination of art and science. Can't just fire away because you got some anomalies here. You got some externalities, as they call them, some outside variables, some noise. That noise coming in. Dodgers just got swept by the Pirates. Dodgers are pushing for the playoffs. Baltimore is not. But yet here he is. The Dodgers 0-9 against non-divisional teams when they're in the favorite role. If they got 10 or more hits the last outing. In other words, they used up all their luck. So it's an interesting spot. And then as I mentioned, you've got that, got that Dean Kramer side of things rolling as well. So I'll tell you this. Dodgers 7-0 to the over when the total's greater than a 7.5. The average number of runs being scored, 12.6. Baltimore intersects that 0 with an 8-0 over spot. Non-divisional spot off a dog win. And they're averaging 12.7 runs in those spots. That non-divisional off a win dog situation shows you they're playing a team they don't see very often. And you discount them and dismiss them, and you don't know what number to put on them, and they go out there and shove right up your, what. So we'll take that spot for the Dodgers over 9. I got to go with this one. And I'm not mad at anybody that wants to say the Yankees are the play. I saw a couple of you guys talk about them, and I certainly get concerned when Bo Jackson, our resident Toronto whisperer, the 6 man himself, comes in and says, Yankees going to smash. I don't think he said that, but he did say, he says, let's go Yankees. So that does concern me. Everything tells you this has got to be a New York Yankee spot. They're in the playoffs. They're hunting. They're in a revenge situation, which we'll talk about in a second. They got busted up by Toronto. Almost swept, I believe, that series. But you got reverse line movement. You got 68% of the bets on the Yankees and 46% of the cash. Why did this line open up at minus 138? The Yankees at home on a Friday night in a playoff race? 8.5s have moved to 9s. 93% of the bets, 92% of the cash on the over. I don't think it'll get past 9. For the fact that it didn't open at 9 and they moved it to 9, I don't know. We'll see. It doesn't matter to me the side or the total. It's the side. Look, the Yankees, this is where it just gets like it's mind-boggling, right? They got 3 straight wins with Schlittler. And the Gausman's got 4 straight losses. The Jays can't score for this guy, this poor fuck. Stanton and Judge, Stanton, who I just talked about 2 nights ago, cracking a homer finally, have cracked Gausman. So why are the Yankees only at 138? And you might be saying, well, 138 is pretty pricey. Because we know there's a Yankees tax just by putting the pinstripes on. They're minus 138, minus 140, minus 145, not minus 120 with this reverse movement. Now, here's the spots that I found, specifically where I referenced the revenge. When the Yankees are divisional favorites against a righty in the revenge role, they lose. They're 0-8. Last time they played the Jays, they lost. Toronto intersects that 0, 11-0 in the dog roll versus a team they beat by 3 or more runs the previous game. And they're winning by margin. They're winning by 3.5 runs a game in those spots. Gausman checks in at 7-0. This guy that can't catch a break with the team in front of him, 7-0 as a dog. If the total's greater than a 7. And he's covering by 3.1 runs a game. I might take another look. We got a couple of mementos here. Let me take a peek. This might just be throwaway money. We'll see. If it's over plus 205, that's the number in my head. That's the number in my head. Who did I just talk about? That's the byproduct of being up late last night. Kevin Gausman. Pitcher win. Plus 2. There it is. All right. I'm going to sprinkle, just a sprinkle, because we got a lot of action tonight. Kevin Gausman to catch the dub at plus 230. Doesn't that make sense? It doesn't make sense. That's why it does make sense. Picking up what I'm putting down? If you listen real fast, I won't have to slow down for you to speed up. Here's an under. Here's a familiar sight. I got to go with this one. Two things going on. Waka. Important start for this guy. 9-0 to the under when he's in the divisional favorite role. He's a favorite for a reason. Waka. Unders. Favorites. It's surprising they're a favorite because they just shit the bed. Albeit they did come back. That was a lower scoring affair. 3-2 first 5. We talked about their bats being cool. Well, they woke up. That concerns me. But the Twins, we know, they lose in bunches. I've talked about it. On the road, they're 27-42. That doesn't strike fear into my heart. And Pablo Lopez will take his glorious victory lap to the bump. Pablo Lopez hasn't pitched since June 3rd. He did go 6 innings. He does try to keep the ball down a little bit. I think we see 2 to 3 runs exposed. I think Kansas City probably wins this game. This had a couple feelings to the under for me. Like I mentioned, the Waka situation was part of it. The coldness, the temperature of the bats on both sides of this thing certainly can leave a little to be desired. Now, Pablo Lopez, they do win with the guy. So it is a little bit of a ballsy situation to try to push out there. And I'm just guessing that Kansas City can't come back there and do it again. And Waka shows that he can shut the other team down. That's good enough for me. If you can't do it and your pitcher can go out there and shut you down, you need evidence. They're 4-5 when he's at home as a starter because they're just not scoring enough runs for the guy. So 5-0 losses last start, 4-2 loss the start before that. They did catch a 4-3 win the start before that, but all lower scoring affairs. To rock it out there, almost round us out. We'll keep it moving. Got quite a few games to talk about. I added the spot. I added the Rockies plus 1.5. Plus 120. And you're probably sitting there going, well, here we go again. Because, yeah, I took 2 shots with them last week and I lost them both. Fortunately, the Pirates came through. And I was able to generate a full unit between those 2 plays. Not a ton, but we're not going to grow this thing overnight. So bottom line, got to take a shot. And with this shot I wanted to get involved with here, it comes down to 2 things. One, the Rockies put up runs at home. They're 10-0 to the over at home if they've gone over in consecutive days. We know that the Padres can lose. Furthermore, what we know about this pitching matchup here, dude stinks at Coors. He's terrible. His record in this stadium, now a lot of guys stink at Coors. There's no question about that. So I'm not going to just entirely punish him for that factor. But at the end of the day, if Colorado's games are going over and we see that Nick Pivetta stinks at Coors, home run factory for this guy, then the Rockies are live. And I don't want to see the San Diego Padres get in a dogfight. His last time versus Colorado, well, his last 2 times. 5 innings pitched, 6 earned runs, a homer, 3 walks. Just not showing any command and intensity and control. It is a second game on the road. He just played the Twins. They did catch a 12-3 win They got some run support from them, but to me, I'm going to take a shot with the run line here for the Colorado Rockies. I don't mind. You want to sprinkle a little bit of cash on that money line as well. I'm going to jump in on the Sky, plus 11.5. Big battle here, Sky versus Fever. We know Caitlin Clark's out. She'll be out for the rest of the season. We know on the Chicago Sky side of things that Angel Reese is out. We got a big total. She's serving a suspension, I believe is what we heard. And we got a total. This line's come down just a little bit, but the system that got triggered on this one here just comes down to team catching a win the last game. Bad team catching a win, follows it back up with another win. They're going to get streaky, right? They caught the win. The books weren't sure what number to put on them because they stink. Now you got these externalities with the players moving around. 95 and 70. If they're between a 2.5 and 18-point dog off a win the previous game. It's a 58% win rate. That's good enough for me to say, let's take a shot with this Chicago Sky. I told you I put a free WNBA play out there on Winnable, so you can check that out. We got 2 games to cover in college football, and we should make this thing right down to the wire with our boy coming in here shortly. Northern Illinois and Maryland. Look at tough games, tough schedule tonight, but Northern Illinois isn't that MAC team that challenged Buffalo for the college football, the MAC championship a couple of years ago. They're terrible. And Maryland is in midseason form to pop the top right off the shop here. The Northern Illinois squad opened up as 14.5-point dogs. They've moved to 16.5 points. This total's come down 48.5 down to 44.5 with 86% of the bets and 83% of the cash on them. Here's why. NIU's offense is suspect. They only beat Holy Cross 19-17 last week. I was on Holy Cross. I said, Holy Cross, holy shit. That's an FCS team. You almost lost. Yikes. Furthermore, they only went 289 yards of offense. That ain't good. They only had 2 scoring drives until the fourth quarter. So they were off the board almost the entire day. Last season, their scoring offense was 93rd in college football, bottom third of college football. And then you look at Maryland's side of things, and their defense shut down FAU. 6 interceptions. After the first 10 minutes, that first little nervous nature of the game, boom, score went through the roof. They got shut down entirely. It's going to be a spot for us to take advantage on that side of things with the Northern Illinois team total being kept off the board. Now, this was 14.5. It's moved to 13.5. You can go back out there, outline that thing. I want to get over the key number of 14 with that spot. I'm sure you guys will hear plenty about key numbers all weekend long. The second game I'm looking at here, and we'll, guys, right on time, punctual as a SOB. The Western Illinois Leathernecks are getting a massive 30.5 points. It's moved to 31.5 points with 88% of the bets and 84% of the cash on the Leathernecks. Northwestern side of things here, the Wildcat totals drop from 51.5 to 48.5 with 88% of the bets and 87% of the cash. System number 2 that's in play for us tonight. Oops. Big spreads, low totals. Science behind that one really is just simply the spread's so high that one team probably covers it themselves. And if the other team can squirt 1 or 2 points on the board for there, we should be able to get the cash. 75 and 18 to the over. High spreads, low totals. Now, this one ain't pretty. This is not for the weak of heart. When you look at this thing last week, both these teams coming in at 0-1, sure. Their offenses looked inept. We saw Northwestern 23-3 against Tulane, got beat down, busted up on the road. And the Leathernecks got stomped on by Illinois. Holy cow, 52-3. Illinois looked pretty good in that spot. So we're going to need clearly both of these teams to put up more than a 3 spot, but I think that's why we get to buy low. We get to buy this spot on a discount because of aforementioned performances. Let's bring our guy in to talk about UFC Paris. You guys, questions that you have out there, you know, Andrew's always willing to talk about what he can. We're going to welcome him to the stage here. Mr. Babakitis, how are you?
I'm doing great, man. It's been a busy, week getting ready for this NFL week 1. Obviously, we had the game yesterday, which, was a good game. The momentum kind of got stumped with that 70-minute delay. But yeah, it's good to see some heavy handle on the NFL. I'm happy it's back around.
I was, yeah, it's like we do some of these live streams and then, we're kind of like, it won't be so bad. It's only going to be a couple hours. It's not like the UFC where you're tied down for, a 6-pack or 7 hours deep, but it seems like there's been a couple of them where we've had some extensive weather delays. There was one that was on a Sunday night. I think it was the CONCACAF Championship. And it was like Sunday night, and we were like, all right, we'll do it. It's only going to be like 2 hours. How bad can it be? And it was like a 3-hour delay because of the weather to start that game off. So it was 5 hours deep. We definitely had a few adult beverages last night for that little weather delay. And then by that point, the second half got turned up. I couldn't believe they only scored 3 points in that second half.
Yeah, that was wild. Yeah, if you guys want to start out with the NFL, I know right before I came back here to start the podcast, we got hit pretty big on the Chiefs side by one of our sharp, respected bettors, and he laid down a massive, massive bet. So that shifted the line for us. We've been writing some Chargers money line back, kind of enticing some of the advantage bettors who are looking at the screen. But that was a really notable bet that we took not too long ago. And like I said, it's it's nice to see these big, like massive bets like we get on NFL.
Do you find that the numbers are, is there an extra comma in some of the bets when it comes to some of your sharper bettors when it comes to the NFL?
Yeah. And, with the good thing about NFL is the lines are so strong that, you're able to take big, big bets like that. So, digging into some of the smaller markets, that's a big reason why the lines are so volatile, is because that handle really moves the lines. But, they can come in and make, huge bets on the NFL, and it barely moves the market, and you're able to write back money so you can have money on both sides very easily. And, it's just enjoyable to see, just the energy that NFL brings in.
What was the Superbook like last night? Were you guys packed and rocking and rolling?
Oh yeah, it was like I said, it's just NFL. I mean, these guys can't contain themselves. I mean, all the pods and stuff were filled. I'm sure it's going to get busier here tonight. All the contest stuff is coming to an end, so everyone's rushing in last second to sign up for the contest and stuff. So yeah, a real successful run on the contest for college football. I think the expectation, we weren't really sure what we were going to hit with that, but for doing the college football contest for the first year, I think we're pleasantly surprised with the interest and the low level of marketing that we've had on it. It's kind of word of mouth, so it's promising going forward that a lot of people were very interested in the college football contest as well this year.
I like the game just better. I mean, I'm an NFL fan, but as I've aged, I've become more fan of the college game itself. I like the more options to choose from too. I think that as a bettor, you kind of have maybe a little bit of an opportunity to catch a soft line, because you guys have the challenge of putting a line up for everything. And when there's 150 games, it's a lot for me to look at. I can only imagine what you guys have to go through to get those lines up there on a college football Saturday. Anything jump out from a college football perspective?
Yeah, let me pull that up for you guys. I don't want to.
We got so much meat on the bone this time of year.
Exactly. This is just such a fun time of year. I mean, it's a grind, like you said, especially because everything is manual. But yeah, let's jump into the games that are tonight. We did get hit pretty big on Louisville early at -13 and -14. We're currently sitting -15 now, so we're in a spot where we need James Madison to at least put up a competitive fight and try to cover. But those were both pretty respected bets, and you can kind of see the line has been going Louisville's way early. Looks like we're rooting for the under pretty big in that game as well. Going to the Maryland game, we did get hit. The sharpest bet we got hit on was under 48. that line moved a lot. We're sitting 45 now, so you can see that that's not the same number you're looking at anymore. I'm not sure I'd want to touch something that's moved that significantly, but sharp action there under 48 on the Maryland game. Is there any other games this weekend that you're looking forward to that you want to talk about, or there's kind of a lot of information?
Yeah, I know, right? Just to open up the old data dump here. Maybe it's because I'm a sicko, but I'm looking forward to Iowa State.
Yeah,
I thought we've seen Iowa State with some time underneath their, they got some miles on the car already to start the season off for sure. Travel spot, then they had a big game. But I think what they saw, like Kansas State to me seemed like overreaction to Iowa State going out there and handling them because Kansas State didn't look so good. And that game ended up staying under that Ireland game anyhow. So the second game I was a little surprised, I guess, to say the least. But now Iowa, with what they've done offensively in the offseason, bringing in, strengthening up, transfer portal, they were buyers. And I'm excited to see how they will compete against a team like Iowa State. It's a small number, though. It does. I mean, it's 3.5 points is what I'm seeing right now. Anything jump out to you on that game?
I mean, me personally, no, but just looking at the information, we did get hit at -3 on Iowa State by one of our sharper customers. That line for us moved to 3.5. I'm not sure if there's still any threes out there, but it actually opened up at 2.5. So clearly you can see which way that game's moved. It's moved a full point from 2.5 to 3.5, which some would consider a significant move through 3. So that alongside the under by one of our another respected bet on the under 43 moved to 0.5 point. You can still get 42.5. But it looks like there's been some buyback on the over spot in that game. So we do well on the under, and like I said, we got hit pretty early on Iowa State.
I got the other one that kind of caught my attention is Oklahoma State and Oregon. A lot of smack talk going into this thing. We see Oklahoma State's coach comes out there and he's calling out Oregon and he's like, hey, we use the NIL to improve our team, not to pay the play. I mean, a lot of smack talk. They talked about like last year, Oregon's NIL dollars were like $40 million. And he said Oklahoma State's only spent like $3 million over the last couple of years. Injury at the quarterback front again. I mean, they can't seem to get consistency when it comes to their quarterback out there. 27.5. I think Oregon beats the brakes off of Oklahoma State. Am I crazy?
No, I mean, that's the side it looks like most of the action is coming in. We did get hit by a big player at -28. Like you said, it was sitting 27.5 for quite a while. It got as high as 29. So there hasn't been, it looks like 28 is right around that number where there's going to be strong action on both sides. Like I said, it moved from 27.5, got as high as 29. At 29, there was some strong buyback on Oklahoma State. But out of the most respected bets on the game, it looks like the most respected bet came in on Oregon.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's such a big card too to kind of dissect. Like there's some really big numbers this weekend. So that kind of feels like, all right, we're starting to get there now. Not that teams are going to have to go out there and, I mean, some should bone smoke them, right? Like Alabama, ULM. I see a 35.5 line and I see 49.5 on the back number. I mean, this seems like Alabama's team total over would be the way to go because that's a tough number for Alabama. Are we going to overreact? This conversation about the coaching change and everything that happened as he came. I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to see out of that, but I don't want to trust ULM to do anything. I wouldn't want to trust the ULM to change the tires on my car.
Yeah, I mean, you would guess that's a big bounce back spot after kind of getting embarrassed last week. So, yeah, I mean, let me roll up on that game. Let's see what we got. Let's see.
God, so it's like I used to have to write them all down because what my problem would be is this time of year is a great golfing weather up in New York. So I'd get out there on Saturday morning, get up early, start playing golf, and then I'm on my phone, and because of obviously the round's taking longer than I thought it would. Everyone feels the way I do about golfing this time of year in New York, and now I'm on my phone placing bets like a madman. And then by the time I get to 1:30, 2 o'clock, I got no credit left. I'm fully invested, and I got to hope that everything goes well in the early slot so I can play the games I want to play in the evening slot. So I've been trying to do a better job of looking at the whole card and kind of picking my spots more so than trying to get every game right.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. And it's tough when there's such a big slate and, everyone's so excited for NFL and college to be back. It's just, even some of these sharp customers, it's like they're really firing in a lot of different spots. It's not like with the UFC where some of these guys are more calculated. They're picking out a couple plays. A lot of these guys are getting a lot of handle down. So some of the plays I might, share, they might not be a winner because, these guys are firing a lot of volume at this point in the year. So, nothing too crazy on that game. Pretty split action. But I mean, I'm looking forward to this slate, man. This is the handle on this weekend has been phenomenal.
This is the biggest weekend of the year. This has got to be bigger. I mean, tourist wise, I guess I could see the Super Bowl being impactful, right? That you can't argue with that.
March Madness is the crazy time, but this
one you got all football, all NFL, all college football, all Major League Baseballs, all in action, and then any future bets that people are trying to lay down for NBA and NHL probably come into play. This has got to be probably one of the best times.
Oh, absolutely. This is something I was actually talking to my boss about it earlier. He's just like, make sure we're doing our best to keep these markets up because this is a time that, you're getting these eyes on all these different awards and all these different future markets that you spend a lot of time working on and putting up and adjusting hold percentage. But this is a time I'm not calling the customers square right now. This is just a time all customers are in here, signing up for the contest. They're looking through the sheets. They're looking to, fire on some futures. So this is a time where we're doing our best to keep things fresh, update as much as we can, and give as much shelf life to these markets as we can before it gets real hot in season.
Well, UFC Paris is going to be a ton of fun. That thing's right around the horizon for us here. It's another early start. I guess I read this morning that they've made some announcements. The UFC White House card, the weigh-ins will be held at the Lincoln Memorial. The fight night will take place on the South Lawn. Fighter warm-ups will be inside the White House. They're going to have fireworks, a light show. They were even saying that they might have the fighter walkouts from the Oval Office. So I'm obviously excited about that. I saw you reposted some of the Conor McGregor stuff on that.
Yeah.
So
I'm just a fan, but if I had to predict the fight, I'm really, really to me, it just makes the most sense that they run McGregor Diaz 3. It just feels like it makes the most sense. I know people are probably like, oh, I mean, who cares about that fight? Trust me, if that fight's at the White House, that's going to get more eyes than any fight that they can put on. So I'm all in for that. I know it's not a championship level fight at this point, but dude, who's not tuning in to watch that fight? I really do hope we get at least one more, I won't say run, but, a couple fights left for McGregor before he calls it a career.
Dude, he looks pretty good. It doesn't look like he was sitting around sucking down that scotch that he's been serving out there, the proper 12 or whatever the case may be. But hey, this week though, you got some big fights in play. I feel like Patricio Pitbull has fought 10 times in the last 6 months. I don't know why that's the case. It just feels like he's been on the card a lot. I saw your big guy bets. Pitbull made the list. I think I'm going to just blindly bet on Pitbull until further notice here.
I don't know if you heard, but they canceled that fight this morning.
Oh, fuck. Obviously I didn't hear.
Yeah, that the other guy missed weight by 3 pounds. So I think he actually got cut from the UFC after missing weight. So that fight was scratched, which is a bummer. Obviously, that was a fight I was looking forward to just based off of the big guy coming in and having some success over the last month. A lot of hate goes his way, but man, he's crushing this last month, and he's hitting some big plays, 270s. A lot of plus 200 type of.
I think he swept the last card, if I'm not mistaken. I know he had a couple of big runs in there, and they were big bombs. They were plus 230s, plus 240s.
Yeah, the Johnny Walker one played out, and that was a wild fight, and he ended up getting the cash in that one. So,
That was such a string. I said, if the best way to not get knocked out in the first 60 seconds is to shoot a takedown and then end up on the ground so that you're not standing on your feet. And you can see that he didn't know what to do after Johnny Walker. He was just like, I've never seen this before. It was just a crazy start, but then there's some good ones on the card. Like, I don't know how I can get involved in the number on Sam Hughes, but Sam Page, probably by decision, but it's still pricey as heck. I mean, what are you guys seeing? Where do you think some of that liability stands from your guys' perspective on the card?
I mean, with that fight in general, it's been one-way action, really. Just a lot of parlay liability on Sam Hughes. That would be an awesome one for Bannon to come and get the upset to start the card. That would definitely be favorable for the book to, start the night with that kind of dog. I guess start the morning, actually. It's an early card.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I can go through a few of the fights that have a significant amount of handle. It might not be in I'll try to get them in order, actually.
It's all right. Whatever jumps off the page at you, it's all good.
Yeah, so the Gustafsson fight versus Fakhradanov, we did get hit by the big guy on that one. I know I tweeted that out early in the week. He came in and bet what now is not a good price. It kind of moved in his face on that one. He bet Renat at plus 105. We're currently sitting plus 115. And, it was not an issue for us to write back some Gustafsson money, which, the way the big guy is rolling, I'm not mad at winning on his side, and we definitely don't want to be losing on his side. So this one was an easy one for us to write money back. Feel like we're sitting in a good spot, and honestly, it might not be a bad idea to write another bet on Renat the way we're sitting. We win pretty big on that side currently. Moving on. Okay. The Tavares fight. We did get hit on Tavares today, but some early sharp action on Bryce check at plus 200. That moved the line down quite a bit early in the week. It went from minus 280 all the way down to minus 200. But then there's been some buyback on Tavares over the last 24 hours. Patterson, we did get hit big on Sam Patterson today by one of our big players. I won't say necessarily, the sharpest action, but it was a big player who came in and laid the money line on Patterson to win real big. So we're going to need Waters in that one. Moving on. Same thing with this Fernandez fight. We got hit real big on Fernandez. Came in and laid the money line on Fernandez at minus 170. Then we did get a sharp bet on the under 2.5 at plus 170 on that fight. So that a lot of interest in this card. I think, like we were talking about in just with the NFL being here, man, that the UFC is definitely thankful from a booking perspective that all this NFL stuff is going on, because I wasn't really necessarily expecting this kind of handle on this card. But yeah, it's been real solid so far.
It's like fight, the timing of this thing too, but it's from an East Coast perspective, being right at noon, it kind of coordinates with the kickoff of college football. I bet that place is going to be packed down there this weekend.
Oh yeah. This is the best time of year for a lot of the guys in the back. The work has already been put in, and now we kind of get to enjoy the fruits of our labor. Going on to the Tybura fight, we did get hit pretty big on this fight as well. On
Delesia?
Yeah, we got hit on Delesia, but there's been strong buyback. We did get a sharp, respected bet on Tybura at plus 110. So yeah, this one's pretty balanced, honestly. Been strong action on both sides of that fight. Nothing much on the Gomes fight. Obviously, we'll probably be rooting for the dog at the end of the day in that one.
It feels like that Gomes price tag is just wide and wide for a reason.
Right.
He probably should go out there and handle business, but do you want to lay a $3 price tag to try to find out? And then even at the minus 3.5, is he going to go 10? It's just, I don't know how he goes a 10-9 in there and you're screwed. You're in trouble. And especially if he takes a bad round to start off the gate. I saw you got the big guy bought in on the McKee side of things.
He did. Yeah. So that one's been more of a struggle for us to get buyback. Not a lot of interest on the other side so far. So it's kind of been a grind in that one. We got hit at plus 125 on McKee. And that line has dropped all the way down to where we're sitting on Sola minus 120. Just trying to write some money back. And, it hasn't been easy. And that's why you can kind of see we're at a point where we've scalped ourselves a little bit. But sometimes that's what you have to do to, balance the books. Not ideal, especially, for the big guy who's betting, a big amount.
I see that. Yeah, they refunded my Pitbull action already. So that fight obviously off the card stinks. How about Paul Craig and Modestas Bukauskas there? I'm a Paul Craig fan. I don't know if it's just me, but he always seems to have a nice price tag next to his name, and he kind of got robbed in that last fight.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like that guy kind of I won't say took the easy way out, but it was very strange, that stoppage, to say the least. This is actually one of the lower handle fights on the card for us at this point. But like you said, Paul Craig is a dog that will fight for your money. So I wouldn't be shocked if coming tomorrow we get a big bet on Paul Craig. So I've kind of sat Modestas at the low side of the market. It's not like I'm trying to give that big money line away because you'll get a bunch of parlays and stuff. But I'm expecting some Paul Craig money at some point because this is another spot where he's almost a 3-1 underdog, and he's beat some of the best guys in the division. So I mean, yeah, he can definitely get this one done. That's for sure.
The challenge is to what degree do you believe in Modestas there? Because look at Paul Craig's fought the who's who of anybody and I mean, he goes, look at Barallo. This guy, they're saying they're going to put this guy up if he does the job this weekend against Imavov for a shot at the title potentially. That was a KO. He had Bo Nickel. He took Bo Nickel to the ropes. I mean, he went to the distance, and then he had that illegal up kick. I think he was winning that Bellato spot out there, and it was just foolish for Bellato.
If you go back a little further, he beat Jamal Hill and he beat Ankalaev. So Ankalaev's the champion, and he submitted Ankalaev. I think he's the only one who's beat Ankalaev in the UFC. So, I mean, it just shows he can compete as an underdog, and he's not a dog. I wouldn't mind the book being in a spot where we're rooting for him to win a little bit of money with busting a lot of these parlays for sure.
I mean, it's tough because he has taken, now 4 straight, haven't gone to victory lane for us, but that was one of those fights there, that illegal up kick that screwed up my bankroll distribution. I think I was talking to you a little bit about some of the way that there's certain fights I want to get action on them all, but there's certain that I want to go heavier on. BSD and Mauricio. I mean, that should be a fun co-main now, I guess, with Ruffy and, what are we going to see out of BSD? He hasn't done, whatever we know about this guy. The French special forces guy is like the only thing people keep talking about. They don't talk about the doctor stoppage in Moicano. I mean, he'll fight for your money too. He doesn't seem like he's not willing to wear a black eye. It's
kind of gone backwards for him over the last couple, where his hype before that Dustin Poirier fight, everyone was like, this dude is on the fast track for a title run. And there's been some big bets on him this week. You can see the line moved from, minus 200 it got as high as minus 210, or we actually had 215 on Roofy, and it's came all the way back down to minus 160. So you can see that there's some strong belief in BSD this week. I'm hoping Roofy keeps this entertaining streak alive and gets him out of there. And currently that's what the book is rooting for too. And I'm happy to be in a spot where we're rooting for a favorite in the co-main event.
That's not a bad tag either, sitting around minus 145 or so. How about the big one for me here? Nasruddin Imavov, the big main event for everybody. Barallo on the other side of things. I feel like if the UFC was going to create one poster with one face, it's got to be Barallo's face that's on that thing, because it's just like that dude is all over the place, and he's got the gym. I mean, we know about the fighting nerds have taken over the world by storm. They're developing, they're evolving. is he just too involved and not focused on the right things out there, because multiple weight cuts and getting distracted on the other side of things? Nasruddin Imovov's in this thing saying, well, shit, I was probably going to fight for the belt, and now I got to go out here and deal with this little gatekeeper entrance with this guy that everyone, the impressive win streak that he's been on. What are you guys seeing from a market perspective in this side of things here? I got to lean to Imavov. Feels like I want my money on.
You can see where the line opened and the favorite flipped. Imavov opened the favorite. So he opened up actually a larger favorite than what I put up, because I kind of felt like Arjolio was going to get a lot of action. So we opened up minus 115 on Imavov. I know there was like some minus 130 out there. But it looks like one that I got right, just from a market reaction standpoint. Not that Arjolio is going to go in there and win the fight, but he's sitting at minus 130 now. It got as high as minus 140. Really split action on this fight. And, if you respect where the odds makers opened the fight, then it feels like you almost have to be betting Imavov as, he opened the favor and it flipped. But, it feels like a coin flip fight, which I love to see in the main event, because it's easy to book balanced action.
Sure. What do you guys find? I mean, is there any rule of thumb that you see when the line opens up as a favorite and it becomes a dog? I mean, certainly unless somebody knows something, and it spoils the market a little bit. But do you find that when is that a rule that you see that your sharper bettors try not to go into it? If they move him past a favorite to a dog, is it too late to take the favorite at that point? Or how does that evolve? How does that evaluate? How do the sharper bettors respond to those market changes like that?
Yeah, it's a good question. I'd say, like I've said before, a lot of the guys, some of the sharpest guys will wait to bet on the big underdogs till real late in the card, while they feel like the money line is juiced to a certain point, probably a lot of parlay liability and stuff. So the favorite juices up and moves, whatever, 100 cents. But in a coin flip fight like this, it definitely means something to me where, the line flips. Typically the action that comes in a month before the fight is going to be more respected, right? People who, I'm not saying all public players don't wait, they do wait till the last day, but typically more public handle comes in closer to the fight. You got to think more of that respected action out there on such a close fight did come in on Arjolio, and that's why the line flipped. But you never know. I mean, it is a coin flip fight, and there's been strong action on both sides.
Yeah, it should be a good battle, good test. It's going to be a fun card. I'm sure you guys are going to be having the weekend of the season out there in Las Vegas. But always enjoy having you on, brother. I'd sit here talking all night with you, but I know you got things to do, and I want to make sure everyone follows you on X at ababakitas24. Tons of great resource and information that you're just putting out there on the regular to help us all make better bets. Tell them what's cooking. What do you guys got going on down there?
Absolutely. Yeah, I appreciate that. Well, I mean, we're looking at the last day of signups going into tomorrow. So if you're in Vegas and you're trying to sign up, you better get over here as quick as possible, because, it's been busy with the signups. So those contests are coming to an end. But, if you're in Vegas, I feel like this is one of the most competitive priced books out there. So this is one you'll definitely want to add. Like always, I'm always thankful for you having me on. And if you haven't followed me on X yet, like you mentioned, I'm always very receptive of trying to answer any questions people have. So shoot me a follow. And if you have any questions about lines or, where action is coming in, feel free to hit me up, and I try to share as much as I'm able to.
Well, respect that. Appreciate you taking the time to come in here. The powers to be for letting you come on and spend time with us on camera like this. And I know I can see that things are heating up behind you there. So much appreciation. You guys do follow ababakitas24 on X. We'll get him back for UFC. Appreciate the NFL and college football knowledge as well. Hope you guys have a great weekend. We'll be live for some NFL tonight, the special Brazilian game. So get yourselves ready and get your bets placed. We'll be back here live, dual streaming Sports Money and Razor Sharp Picks Network till tomorrow, 9 a.m.